Good morning, students. Um, this is a reading of Chapter 1, The Black Eye of the Month Club. You may need to stop this video to translate words that you need. There are lots of new words in this chapter. Some of them are on your vocabulary list, and some of them you just need to translate for yourself, right? So feel free to stop this video to look words up that you need in order to understand what the chapter is about. I was born with too much fluid inside my brain. That's just the doctor's fancy way of saying brain grease. And brain grease works inside the head like car grease works inside an engine. It keeps things running smooth and fast. But I was born with too much grease inside my head, and it got all thick and disgusting, and it messed everything up. My thinking and breathing engines slowed and broke down. My brain was filled with grease. Right? So he was born with too much liquid inside of his head. I was only 6 months old. It was a baby. And I was supposed to die during surgery. And even if I somehow didn't die, I was supposed to suffer serious brain damage during the procedure. Well, I obviously survived the surgery, but I have all sorts of physical problems that are the result of my brain damage. First of all, I ended up having 42 teeth. The typical human has 32, right? But I had 42. 10 more than usual, 10 more than normal, 10 teeth past human. I could barely close my mouth. I went to Indian Health Service to get some teeth pulled out so I could eat normally. But the Indian Health Service only paid for people to go to the dentist once a year. So I had to have all 10 extra teeth pulled out in one day. And what's more, our white dentist believed that Indians only felt half as much pain as white people did. So he only gave us half the pain medicine. Ow, that must have been a really painful day to go to the dentist and have 10 teeth pulled out at the same time with not enough pain medicine from a racist dentist. What an asshole, huh? Indian Health Service also only paid for eyeglasses once a year and offered one style, those ugly, thick, black plastic ones like these. My brain damage left me nearsighted in one eye and farsighted in the other. I get headaches because my eyes are like enemies, you know? Like they used to be married to each other, but now they hate each other. So his eyes kind of like look in different directions. And I started wearing glasses when I was 3 years old. So I ran around the res looking like a 3-year-old grandpa. Guys, res, you see this number 1 next to the word res? Res is a short way of saying, if you look at the bottom, res is short for reservation. This boy, the character in the story, lives on an Indian reservation. It's complicated. We have to look that word up. That's why there's a whole video about it, and maybe another video. So it's a special place where some American Indians live. It's like a small area of well, some of them are big, but his reservation is a small area of land. So I ran around the res looking like a 3-year-old grandpa. And oh, I was skinny. I'd turn sideways and disappear. But my hands and feet were so big, they were huge. My feet were a size 11 in 3rd grade. He had huge feet. With my big feet and pencil body, I looked like a capital L walking down the road. And my head was enormous, huge. My head was so big that some of the kids called me Globe. The bullies would pick me up, turn me in circles, put their finger down on my head, and say, I want to go there. See the picture of the globe over here? He had a really big head. So obviously, I looked funny on the outside, but it was the inside stuff that was the worst. First of all, I had seizures, at least 2 a week. Do you guys see the picture of a child having a seizure? It's where you have some sicknesses or diseases make you have seizures. They're a part of the brain problem, and they make you fall on the ground and shake. And sometimes you have spit coming out. You can bite your tongue, and you cannot control your body when you are having a seizure. It's dangerous. They're very bad for your brain. One disease that has seizures is called epilepsy. Maybe you've heard of it. So he says, first of all, I had seizures, at least 2 a week. So I was hurting my brain on a regular basis. Yep. Whenever I had a seizure, I was hurting my brain even more. I also had a stutter, or maybe I should say I had a stutter. Right? Have you guys ever met sometimes little kids have a stutter? It means it's hard for them to say the words. That's a stutter. It's a speaking disability that sometimes goes away when little kids get older, and sometimes it doesn't. You wouldn't think that there's anything life-threatening about a stutter, but let me tell you, there is nothing more dangerous than being a kid with a stutter. A 5-year-old, so if you're 5 years old, is cute when he stutters. And geez, you're still pretty cute when you're a stuttering 6, 7, and 8-year-old. But it's finished when you turn 9 and 10. After that, your stutter turns you into a retard. A retard is kind of a negative, it's kind of a bad word for someone who's born mentally delayed. And if you're 14 years old like me, and you're still stuttering, says he's 14 years old and he still has this speaking problem, right? He still stutters. Then you become the biggest retard in the world. Everybody on the reservation, remember? Everybody on the res calls me a retard about twice a day. They call me retard when they're pulling down my pants or pushing my head into the toilet or just hitting me upside the head. Right? So he gets bullied a lot. Do you know what happens to retards on the res? We get beat up at least once a month. Yep. I belong to the Black Eye of the Month Club. This is a black eye, right? You get a black eye when someone hits you, when someone punches you in the eye, hard. Sure, I want to go outside. Every kid wants to go outside, but it's safer to stay at home. So I mostly hang out alone in my bedroom and read books and draw cartoons. Here's one of me. He loves to draw. I draw all the time. I draw cartoons of my mother and father, my sister and grandmother, my best friend, Rowdy, that's his name, and everybody else on the res. I draw because words are too limited. If you speak and write in English or Spanish or Chinese or any other language, then only a small group of people will understand your meaning. But when you draw a picture, everybody can understand it. If I draw a cartoon of a flower, then every man, woman, and child in the world can look at it and say, that's a flower. So I draw because I want to talk to the world and I want the world to pay attention to me. I feel important with a pen in my hand. I feel like I might grow up to be somebody important, an artist, maybe a famous artist, maybe a rich artist. That's the only way I can become rich and famous. Look at the world. Almost all of the rich and famous brown people are artists. They're singers and actors and writers and dancers and directors and poets. So I draw because I feel like it might be my only real chance to escape this reservation. Right? He wants to get away. I think the world is like a huge ocean, and my cartoons are like little boats that will save me. Okay, so that is the end of your first chapter. Go back, look up words that you need to. You might even want to watch it again and you read it at home and practice your pronunciation, right? That's a great way to practice pronunciation when you can hear someone else, a native speaker, speaking English, and then you can correct yourself by listening. And we will have answer the questions in this video. We will have a quiz about this chapter on Friday in class. It will be an easy quiz. If you read the chapter, you will be able to answer it. You'll be able to answer the questions. Okay.